My name is Megan. I'm a designer here in San Diego, and this is Claro. Claro is a coffee shop off Bank Street in the Marina District, and it's attached to a lumberyard. I first pulled inspiration from George Nakashima, the American woodworker. A lot of his work was in walnut, and specifically Claro walnut as well. He believed in highlighting the natural character of the wood, and so we did the same. If there were natural cracks and fissures, we kept them, just sanded them lightly, did a natural oil, did some butterfly joints, and that all relates to wabi-sabi, which is the acceptance of imperfection. So it all relates back to just respecting the natural beauty of wood itself. When you enter Claro, the first thing you see is the lounge area. And in the center of the lounge area, we have a large Claro walnut burl that we cut in half and turned into a coffee table, or what I like to call a gathering table. Above it, we did a large Noguchi paper lantern that is the same diameter, and they mirror each other, they fill the void of the space, and they really anchor it. Around the coffee table or gathering table, we made a bunch of stools and tables that are a little bit smaller in scale than what you would see in a typical coffee shop, so that they could be multifunctional, and you can move them around the coffee table, you can move them around the banquette, and they really serve as tables and stools at the same time, and it just makes the space really flexible and easy to use. We kept the coffee bar really simple and straightforward and utilitarian, so you can see all the equipment, you can see all of the mugs and the cups and everything we're using to make the coffee. Next to the bar, we have a large burl slab that we hung on the wall to emphasize the philosophy of wabi-sabi. It has a live edge and natural cracks and fissures that we just connected with some bow tie joinery. Another influence I had from George Nakashima was his partition walls. Between the bar and the lounge area, we did an open grid wall that allows transparency between the spaces, and then we mirrored that on the back wall as well. Throughout the space and on the gridded walls, we placed locally sourced and found objects. Some of those are rocks and shells from local beaches, pottery, and plants from local artisans. I commissioned a local Southern California artist to make some hand-carved panels, and I feel like they add a lot of texture to the space without overpowering it. I'm a fifth-generation San Diegan, so it was really important for me to source, fabricate, and produce everything locally here in San Diego.
My name is Brian Grisella. I own Made Lumber Supply. Claro Coffee sits in the front of my building. One of the advantages of having Claro Coffee at the front of our building is we were able to work on the build out when we were in the mood. Being that we were able to work at our own pace led to us being able to think things through a little more, maybe be more selective with materials and some of the process. When choosing wood for the shop, we naturally went with Claro, but as a contrast, we used Port Orford cedar, which was mostly used on the accent walls. And instead of doing, some sort of screw hardware, we did everything traditional joinery, which was a half lap joint, and then we used pegs where needed. When deciding on the finishes for the coffee shop, we turned away from what most restaurants do, which is kind of a hard poly or varnish. We wanted something that felt more natural and something you'd maybe do in your own house. So we went with an oil poly, which was just a wipe on, wipe off polyurethane. Gives it a nice soft feel, and to me, just a more traditional way of finishing a product. One of the fun details is the back panel behind the cart. We disassembled a gym from the 1930s down in Chula Vista and cladded the whole back wall with these nice old growth Doug fir bleacher boards. Using that Doug fir was a nice use of local reclaimed wood that ties in well with our theme and being from San Diego. Being that after the build we had tons of scrap pieces, we decided to resaw and glue them together in a kind of organic way, which created the front panel of our cart. It was a good use of otherwise scrap material and something unique that you don't really see every day. Taking on the project of building out Claro Coffee was really fun because working with Megan, we both had kind of same visions on things, so it was a nice organic feel, and in the end we loved the product and how things turned out.